Good afternoon, and welcome to Mountain Musings. I've moved on to the porch. I started recording this earlier, and we're getting some intermittent rain. And trust me, during fire season here in the mountains, I'm not complaining about the rain. So I appreciate you bearing with me. It's been a busy day here in Cloudcroft. We got up this morning and drug out the new chainsaw and spent the morning cutting down scrub oak, gazing at a pickup load of brush, and I've got another one or two on down the way, plus some firewood. But it's been a good day. Christy and I managed to cut down a large number of trees without lopping off any fingers, toes, or otherwise injuring ourselves. So it's been a good day. Today we're doing another husband traits. This is episode 3, and today we're talking about and looking at kindness. Uh, in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22, we read, "Be kind to one another, for tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you." Ephesians 4:22, the English Standard Version. Uh, Kindness is one of the character traits that made more than one appearance in the responses that I got from ladies. So evidently, kindness is something that is important to at least their concept of what makes a good husband. And sadly, our current culture does not put much stock in kindness. As an officer in the Army, on my officer evaluation reports, I was evaluated for such things as responsibility, loyalty, discipline, integrity, moral courage, selflessness, and moral standards. Those were the character traits that my superiors were supposed to evaluate in me. A later revision listed honor, integrity, courage, loyalty, respect, selfless service, and duty. And even though kindness was absolutely critical to my success as an officer and as a commander, it was not something that the Army had me evaluated by. I didn't think it was important enough to have my superiors give it serious consideration when evaluating my worth as an officer. And the Army's not unusual in that. If you participate in any kind of social media or maybe follow the political world in any way, you'll note that we don't care about kindness as a culture. In fact, we like other things more. The ability to put someone down. There are comedians who make their living putting other people down. If you're working in the boardroom in the business world, kindness is often viewed as a detriment, something that's not good. Uh, it damages the bottom line, being too kind and considerate of others. Uh, but in the home, in husband and wife relations, we need to be pretty serious about kindness. Uh, in the 30s, Ernest Hemingway, great author, came up with this thing called the code hero or an anti-hero. And a code hero is someone who operates by their own code and they do everything based on what they think. And while a code hero makes for very interesting and good literature, in the actual true husband wife relationships, being a code hero is not a good thing at all. And in fact, being a code hero uh, is highly damaging to relationships. Most of the time, a code hero is very self centered and they border on being narcissistic. So, the popular cultural idea of code hero doesn't function well in the marital relationship. Uh, we we just as a culture don't value kindness, but God does. Interestingly, in the English Standard Version, The words kind or kindness show up well over 200 times. Evidently, it's something that God thinks is important. Uh, Multiple times in the New Testament, the Lord tells us, hey, you need to be kind to one another, forbearing with one another. In Colossians, we'll read this, chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other, as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. Colossians 3, 12 and 13. I, I find Paul's words to his instructions for us to put on kindness interesting. It's as if his audience, some 2,000 years ago, struggled with kindness too. Evidently, as human beings, we're not given to kindness. It's not something that we normally do. It's not something that is found in us, this idea of being kind. So Paul tells us to put this on. So today, as we're working our way through this, think in terms of how can I put these character traits on in my marriage. Kindness, our word kind or kindness comes to us from ancient German. And in the adjective form, it means friendly, deliberately doing good to others. As a noun, it means courtesy and noble deeds. The Merriam-Webster online dictionary defines kind as of a sympathetic or helpful nature, of a forbearing nature, arising from or characterized by sympathy or forbearance, and to give pleasure or relief. All these usages of the word greatly improve any relationship, but especially the marriage relationship. As men, you and I we're shaped in a large degree by our working world, and the working world is a pretty tough place. But when you and I come home, we need to put aside the working world persona and make sure that we put on kindness. Uh, as many of our spouses, perhaps even most of our spouses, work outside the home, they desperately need to come home to the warm embrace of a kind and loving husband, one who is forbearing, one who is sympathetic, one who seeks their pleasure and their relief. A recent study in Germany laid out three types of kindness: genuine kindness or benevolence, strategic kindness, which is to maximize gain and avoid cost or loss, norm motivated kindness, which is reciprocity, helping and punishing to uphold fairness. You and I need to embrace this idea of genuine kindness, benevolence, as they put it, and uh, all those other kinds, the other two, the norm and the strategic, we need to avoid those because at the core, uh, strategic kindness, norm motivated kindness is all about me. I'm making the strategic decision to be kind to gain something in the future. But our kindness is that of benevolence, something that springs out of our heart, something that comes from love, something that is placed there by the Holy Spirit, something that we put on. In Galatians 5, this is a very famous passage. We all have heard it. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22 and 23. So when you and I think about kindness, what does that look like in our marriage? And again, as an old English teacher, I say let's go back to the Merriam-Webster definition of a sympathetic or helpful nature, of a forbearing nature, arising from or characterized by sympathy or forbearance, and to give pleasure or relief. When showing kindness towards Christy, I need to focus on three types of actions. And remember, in the marital world, actions carry so much more weight than words. So I should be sympathetic, I should be supportive, and I should be patient. Uh, I should focus on those three types. When I want to be kind to Christy, remember, I need to remember my actions carry more weight than my words. And I should think, how can I show Christy one of these? As you all know, our world is a tough place, especially for those who claim the name of Jesus. Years ago, when women did most of their work at home and most women did not work outside the house, they could indeed lead a sheltered life. But today, I'm guessing that most of your wives work outside the house, so they live in the same tough world that you and I live in. And we show great care and love for our wives when we are sympathetic, when they come home to a husband who is willing to listen to their problems and be patient and show concern, uh, and not be judgmental and not be too quick with a recommendation, especially if our recommendation is you just need to toughen up. Uh, no, they need sympathy and forbearance and patience. Uh, they need supportive acts of kindness. There's a sad stereotype out there of the husband who comes home after a hard day of work, plops down into his easy chair or recliner, and waits for his wife to serve him supper, to be at his beck and call. And even in the time when most women did not work outside the home, this was a sad, failed stereotype. Didn't work well then. It especially doesn't work well now. So, how can you and I be supportive to our wives? What can I do to support Christy? And are there chores that I might help with? Uh, just imagine the joy that you would create if your wife comes home and whoa, the clothes have been folded and put away. Or maybe when you come back from that tiresome trek to Walmart to get groceries and whatever, you say, "Hey, honey, I'll carry in all the groceries." You know, think of those little kind of acts that you and I can do that lay out in plain view our love for our wife. Show her kindness, support her, uh, help her to know that we're all pulling in the same direction, and you doing chores is not something that you're above. So, uh, something that I especially want to make mention of is uh, your wife needs to feel your esteem, your care, uh, your value of her. And something you should never, never, ever, ever do is ridicule your wife, especially in public. Uh, you do not want to add your voice to all the voices in the world that tear her down. Avoid joking about your wife or poking fun at her. She is your cherished love and deserves your respect and your support. Uh, we show our kindness to our wives when we're patient. Uh, in every life, we're going to make mistakes. I mean, it just happens. We drop the ball. And what your wife needs when she drops the ball is your patience, your forbearance. She doesn't need you to be critical and point out the mistakes. She's smart. She knows that she made a mistake. What she needs is your forbearance and your love and your support. Uh, when one of the things that I learned in combat deployments was that unless someone is killed or injured, almost any mistake can be fixed. And I realized through that experience that most of my life in our family, I had stressed and been upset over just piddly little things. There are very few things that happen that time and a little work will not take care of. So be patient with your wife. Be forbearing when she makes a mistake. Show her love and encouragement. Uh, the President Bush Sr. Was noted as being an especially kind man. And whether you agree with his politics or not, uh, we all have to understand and uh, be respectful of the fact that he was kind. He was kind to those around him. He was patient with them, and he was sympathetic to their needs. And his kindness had a profound influence on the lives of those that he ran into. In a like fashion, you and I need to be kind to our wives. I need to shower Christy with kindness, to be good to her. In that way, she knows that our marital relationship is a safe place for her, a place where she can come and be welcomed and helped and supported, and she can expect kindness from me. After all, God calls us to put on kindness, and when we do put on kindness, we'll find that uh, we're being much more like God intended us to be, and our marriage will blossom into the kind of marriage that reflects God's love for us and for the world at large. So, as always, please leave a comment or a like. I think I fixed the comment issue. I found out just last week that indeed, when I was saying, please leave a comment, you couldn't. I think I've fixed that now. So please leave a comment, leave a like. And if you find this helpful, share with a friend. I thank you for your time, and I hope that you have a very good day. Adios.